Hello, my members from Quest. Hello, my members from YouTube. How's everybody doing tonight? We'll let the streaming service catch up to us with comments and get it cooking. I have Judy with me. She's on the line. Hi, Judy.
Hi there, John. I haven't picked you up yet, so I'm hoping it comes soon.
Yep, there's like a little delay like usual, so that's why we're trying to warm it up here. Barbara Perry. Here we go. Here we go. Here they come. Here they come. Got to give it a little time. Got to give it a little time.
It always takes longer for me to pick you up.
Yep. As long as I don't lose you. And of course, I got to give my first shout out tonight to an elite Quest of Oak Island member, Renee Tuttle. She is my first paid member on the YouTube site. If you go there and hit the join button, there's a lot of perks there that you can get. And one of them is usually for the VIPs, but since I don't have any VIPs right now, Renee Tuttle gets all my attention. I thank her for joining. Hello, Kevin, Josh, Mary, Bridget, Curtis, Michelle on the YouTube side, Barbara on the Facebook side, Kelly on the YouTube side. How are you guys doing tonight? I got my Buffalo Bills jersey on. That's what I was saying in my statement. But it's whenever we get to it. There's no big rush to get to it. So we got a lot of things to go over tonight. And we never do anything quickly here because we get into deep conversation. And that's what I like. You members come first in my book. Tammy says hi. John, hi, Judy. Ginny, hi, everyone. And Judy, did I come through yet on your phone yet?
No, not yet.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why it's so slow, but I'm on the phone anyway.
Okay. All right. Of course, we got Judy for her synopsis of what happened this past Tuesday. She's got her voice all primed and ready. So how's everybody going here? And Lionel from New Zealand. And how are you? And thank you for joining my podcast tonight. Usually it's at 7 o'clock every Saturday, but my schedule's been getting a little crazy. I talked to Steve Gutball today, and we're going to get together shortly. We just can't do it in the near term, but maybe in February, I'm going to get him on here. He wants to come on, and we can ask Steve a lot of questions. Hello, Kathy. How are you? So I'm coming through. You guys can see me, and I have audio, right? Because Judy can't see me. Tammy, give me the okay, and we'll start it up. She can hear me on the phone. Just to make sure you guys can hear me video-wise and see me video-wise on both platforms. And give me the green light. Jenny says okay. And Tammy, Curtis says okay. We got the okay, Judy.
Okay, so, good, because I still haven't picked you up. So.
Right. That's why I wanted to make sure. And you can hear Judy, right? Everybody out there? Hi, Tom Burns. Good to go. Tammy says she can hear you. All right.
Okay, good.
All righty. Let me find yep, good to go. All righty. Let me find, I should have her picture up before I do these things, and I never do them for some reason. Okay. All right, Judy, you getting ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we have my mod, Judy, on the phone. She does a weekly synopsis, does a fantastic job. And we get all the details. They can hear you, Judy, so we don't have to stop and say, can you hear me now, like the Verizon commercial? So I got your picture up right now, Judy. So anytime you're ready, let's go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Saturday night again, and we are together, and I love it. The fellowship didn't give us quite as much information Tuesday night as they have in the prior 2 weeks. However, the information is all important to take us forward to the treasure. The show opens in the southeast corner of the swamp with Rick, Billy, Aaron, Jack, and Laird digging carefully so they can expose the structure found 2 weeks ago. They find wooden planks crisscrossing under the layer of stones. Is it cribbing to provide a base for a stone road? Aaron says it was intentionally placed there. In the Money Pit area, Charles, Terry, and Scott are continued drilling to find the void where they believe the treasure vault has fallen. They are working on hole F 2.5 and are down 209 feet. They find no debris and no void. Time to move to another hole. Not far away, Jack, Michael John, and John Winters are sifting through spoils found in OC1 last year. They find a square metal spike called a rotator spike. They call Laird to come take a look, and he believes this spike is iron and from the early 1700s. Another morning has dawned, and outside the war room, Craig arrives for the first time this year. He has just endured 2 weeks of quarantine, so is eager to get started. Inside, Rick, Ian, and Doug inform him they have had no luck finding the Money Pit or the void where they believe the vault to be. Craig presents a new grid map he has drawn up and decides they should start drilling today in the area of OC1. Back in the swamp, Rick and Billy continue to carefully uncover the stone pathway, and Gary is metal detecting the spoils. He finds a top pocket find, a colonial copper coin he believes to be from the late 1600s to the early 1700s. This is the date of other coins found in the area. He also finds an ox shoe nail, which strengthens their belief that this structure is a road leading to the Pine Tar Kiln on Lot 15. Returning to the Money Pit area, Craig, Charles, and Terry are drilling at hole C12 and find some limestone, but no wood. They will move on to hole 611, where hopefully they will have better luck. At the Serpent Mound on Lot 15, the archaeologists, Aaron and Miriam, are carefully sifting the dirt while Gary metal detects. He finds a hand-forged square spike from, he believes, the 1700s, the same year as others found in the area. Back at the Money Pit, Craig, Steve, and Terry are drilling in hole C11. About 100 feet down, they find evidence of a narrow tunnel. Is it a flood tunnel? They must dig deeper. In the swamp, the road-like structure is almost completely uncovered. Rick calls Marty, who is at home, and taking the phone, Aaron shows Marty what they have uncovered. He believes it to be a road that has been there a long time and turns right towards the Money Pit. Marty teases Rick, "Didn't you want to stop at one time? And aren't you relieved that we didn't?" Rick just grins as it was Marty who wanted to quit. That night in the war room, Rick, Alex, and the team are talking about the spikes found in the swamp and the Serpent Mound. They believe them to be man-made and the same age as some found in the Money Pit area, which were from the 1700s. The show ends in the war room with the team talking to Krista Brousseau from the lab, where she has examined the spikes. She believes they were made at the same time and possibly by the same blacksmith. Are they the work of depositors or searchers? They need to do more digging in the swamp and the Serpent Mound. Where will the road and mound take us? Hopefully next week will give us a hint. See you all next week, fellow members, and stay safe, please.
Fantastic, Judy. Fantastic synopsis. I just love how you do it. I just love it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That synopsis will be posted later on after this live show, so everybody can take their time and read all the details. There's a lot of things she said in that synopsis, and some things we'll go over, and I have some pictures of other things. Hi, Starlene. How are you? Getting repeated audio by Richard. Is your volume all the way down, Judy?
Oh, I think it is. Just a sec.
Okay. Richard, you're getting repeated audio from me. Everything's okay on my end.
Yeah, mine's down.
Okay, so is mine. So just want to make sure everybody can hear okay, and whose system is getting a little crazy. It's not me. And I also want to mention the winner of a Quest of Oak Island membership mug, the most active in my group for the last 28 days. And when I mention your name, please PM me your address so I can mail it out to you. Don't put it in public chat. Give me a private message with your address if you still want the mug. The winner is Carol DeMeyer McKitty. Let me repeat that. The winner of a Quest of Oak Island membership mug is Carol DeMeyer McKitty. Fantastic, fantastic. If you saw the numbers she put up, group, it would be unbelievable on her responses to everything that happens with the chat. I thank you so much for being so vocal. But I got to say one thing, Carol. Number one was Starlene Stevens, but she already received the mug. Number two was Susan Opfer. They're always on the top. So since they received a Quest membership coffee mug, it goes to the next one in line, which is you, Carol. Richard, your audio too. Now we're all good here. All right. So we got the winner for the past 28 days of the Quest mug. Like I said, send me your address and a personal message, and we'll get it out to you next week. Only thing on these mugs, if somebody wins it that's international, I might need help with the postage. International, just to mail the mug is over $30, just with fees and duty fees. I use first class international postage by the U.S. Postal Service, and even FedEx and UPS is even more than just $30 plus to mail it. So I might need help on the postage, but I got the postage if you're U.S. based. Okay, everybody? All right, we got that done. All righty. So what did everybody think of the show Tuesday night? Anything stand out? me see here and get my pictures ready. I guess we're going to see that gold shiny thing coming up this Tuesday. I hope so. But there's a lot of things they show us in promos that they don't show us on Tuesday nights. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes.
So there's a lot of things I can say. We see it, but people ask me, "Oh, they're going to show it next week?" Or I have no idea. Even though they give us a promo, that it will be shown this Tuesday or next Tuesday or whatever Tuesday. So you guys got to realize that. You guys got to realize
Gotta
that.
keep watching, right?
Yeah. And also, we got information about wood under the small paved way. I'm going to start with that first, okay? Here we go. Here's a couple of pictures of the wood support cribbing support system that was underneath the small paved stone road or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, they had to put a wood cribbing section under the stones. Otherwise, the rocks, the boulders, the paved boulders, whatever they want to call them, would sink in below the mud, thus not having a good track across the swamp. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes, exactly.
So, don't forget now, guys and members, there was no road in front of this triangle swamp, this 4.5 acre swamp. There was no road there at the time. So, in my personal opinion, it has to somehow extend out past the road. Has to be. Because I don't think it just stops there. It's 20 feet wide by 70 feet. I think it goes out more. That's my own personal opinion. And there's the paved way that they're slowly hosing down. This is the smaller paved way on the bottom right corner of the swamp. And you can see on the upper right, as you look at it, you can see the edge of the cribbing. But I would say, wouldn't you find cribbing underneath all the way? I mean, it's just not muddy on the edge. That was my only concern. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was there cribbing underneath the other paved area?
No. Nope,
Okay.
they didn't say it. And if they did say it, I missed it because then they went off into their clay mine theory. They thought it was a clay mine there with the blue clay.
Right.
But the only way they got the dates there was Dr. Spooner took the dirt below the rocks or paved area, and that's how he dated to like something happened here, in 1680, something happened here, and the man-made swamp. He put a date on it from 1220. But Judy, I say now that even if we have this cribbing that's on the edge of this paved road, which I say if you're going to have cribbing, you should have it underneath the whole part. But maybe just the edge was muddy. I have no idea. But when they age this cribbing that's underneath the stone paveway, what do we get? We get the date of when they put this small paved area in. Do you agree with me, Judy?
Yes.
So at least,
Yes.
at least it's something that, I mean, you can't date a rock, right? You can't date all these rocks and everything. So at least this cribbing gives us some kind of date, and then we can put that date to the people who were busy at that time. You know what I mean? Is it, the wood? I don't know, 1500, 1600, 1700. You can tie that in with Smith's Cove. You can tie that in wherever they found the wood and just tie it all in. So I'm glad they found the cribbing underneath there.
Right. Never thought of that.
But the only thing that gets me crazy, guys, is why isn't the cribbing underneath the middle? I mean, you would sink in the middle as much as you would sink in on the edge, you know?
Right.
Like here, if they put a driveway in your house and one part of the driveway sinking in, they'll get a big dump truck full of cobblestone, fill that up in the area that's real soft, and then put a driveway over. Otherwise, it would just sink down. So here, I'm thinking, well, they put the cribbing on the edge, but why aren't we finding cribbing in the middle? That only tells me it wasn't bad in the middle, or it just completely rotted away, you know?
And that could certainly be.
Sean, they did find some mercury in the swamp near the eye. Yes, they did. And Starlene says, I think it's a big clue as to early Templar. Yeah, we got to get a date, you know? But I don't know if it's from, I don't know how wood is, but if it doesn't have any bacteria on it or anything, it can last a long time. But I don't know if it's going to last multiple hundreds of times to be dated. I'm not sure. And here's where the archaeologists dug through the serpent mound. And now I got questions, guys, on the serpent mound. Like I told you, I was a surveyor. Now you look at those rocks. You see the tops of all those rocks, Judy. You see that? Are you visual? Can you see what I'm doing now, or no?
Yes, I can.
Okay, now look at all the tops of these rocks. Look at the top of the serpent mound. Like I said, I was a surveyor. Do you see any moss on top of these rocks?
No.
Do you know how to find the north spot of your house? The moss grows on the north side of your house because it doesn't get as much sun as the south side. So either these rocks are in a sunny area, and if it's that old, there should have been more trees around. So it should have been shaded, just like we saw other images from years ago.
We had a member say this week that it looks to him like it's fairly new dirt.
I don't know how you find and determine if it's new dirt or old dirt, but I'm going by the rocks. You see these rocks in the bottom picture? There's no moss on them. Either number one, they're all in the sun, so no moss can grow on them. But if you're talking hundreds of years, this island was packed full of trees. There was no sun to be this bright on this island as you see it now. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? Judy, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. You're making good sense.
You know, so if the whole thing's packed full of canopy oaks, how the heck's the sun going to get through all these trees and everything? So when I look as a surveyor, I see all these stones on this 130-foot serpent mound that nobody saw for 12 years. And if it's on the south side, okay, it gets the sun, it burns off the moss. But I'm talking about if they're thinking this is hundreds and hundreds of years old, there was a canopy of trees. There was no sun penetrating down this far to burn the moss off. Here's a Fred Nolan's rock. You guys all see that rock? I don't know what direction the mound's facing, Pam. But you guys see Fred Nolan's mound right there. Fred Nolan's Cone E stone. You see that stone? That big, huge stone?
Yes.
What's on that big stone?
Lots of moss.
A big stone? Lots of moss. A small stone? Little moss. You see what I'm saying, guys? What do you think, guys? I need your opinion out there because my brain, Oak Island, Crystal Oak Island is driving me crazy. It's getting me more confused. Every day I try to look something up, I'm getting more confused. Am I the only one getting confused there?
No, you are not. But you're actually making more questions for us, so.
Yeah. And Pam says, yes, when you walk through a heavily wooded area, there is moss on the north side of stuff. Right. Well, I'm looking at the Serpent Mound. I got the pictures right here that you guys can see. One is a little blurry on the bottom, but the top one, what they showed last week, is crystal clear. These rocks weren't buried in the dirt. I mean, they can't get moss if they're buried in the dirt. Look at the top rocks around the white birch tree.
Now, Tom Burns says that I think they cleaned them off before filming.
I know they cut the trees down, but do you think they clean the rocks of moss? Clean the rocks off? You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. They're cutting the trees down before they get the tractors in there. They clear the land and all that. But I don't think they wash the rocks. Well, that's my own personal opinion. Maybe Billy does wash every rock. I have no idea, but it sounds kind of crazy. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes, I do. Oh, it's so hard to know.
Yeah, I wish I had somebody that would answer me these questions, but I don't. I just got to put them out there and we pile them on, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to point that out, that was sort of a head scratcher for me. And Linda says 2 different rocks. No, I don't think they washed the rocks. Yeah, right. Or they power washed them. I don't think so either. So I'm just showing you the rocks at the Serpent Mound and Fred Nolan's rock. And just to see what's going on. And also, let me see here. I'm getting way ahead of myself here, guys. There's another picture. And there's where he's pointing to the solution channel where they're digging around. Okay, and that's back to the support cribbing system.
Tom Burns does say there's no dirt between them, and cleaning does not mean washing.
Right. And then the wood they found at OC1 was dated 1706. That's the spot they're going after. That could be the original depositors. And it was in a tunnel 150 feet below near the money pit in OC1. And that wood dated at 1706. What's that? 89 years before they even found and started digging the money pit. So that's very interesting. That it was 1704, that wood. And they go from there. And that when Judy said Gary found a ox shoe nail with his other ox shoes. So they know there were oxes there. They know there was a path there. I agree with them. Now, for my next question. Yep, OC1 is very intruding with that 1704 wood. Right, we got the date. Now, the pins, the spikes, the deck spikes there's the 2 spikes. One was found on the bottom at the Serpent Mound. The one on top was found at OC1 by Jack on the wash table, which Laird said they don't use the high pressure hose anymore. Well, I got a picture. They're still blasting stuff on that table, and I'm going to have to ask him on that. What the heck is going on there? It's the same spike at the Serpent Mound is the same spike that they found 150 feet deep at OC1. So now they're saying the Serpent Mound could be original spoils from the original depositors at the money pit. You guys follow me so far?
Yes.
All right. I posted a video in my group about Lot 16. The team members call Lot 16 Money Pit Mountain. This is nowhere near Lot 16. They call it Money Pit Island because of Dunfield and Restall. When they dug the money pit, they put the spoils on Lot 16. Obviously, they're not the original depositors, but wouldn't you think there'd be more objects in those spoil piles than them going to this new place that they never saw in 12 years, 130-foot long serpent mound, which the archaeologists are digging through it now. We'll find out what's going on there. They found charcoal, sure, but that could be anybody lighting a fire. The Indians there lighting a fire, having a piece of charcoal. But I just wanted to tell you guys, as far as I know, they call it Money Pit Mountain on Lot 16, where all the spoils came from Restall and Dunfield. That's where they put the spoils of the money pit. Now they're saying the original depositors, the serpent mound could be, there's the words could be, I should take a drink, that it could be from the original depositors. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yup, Tammy, yup.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. I think it could be.
And then I'm thinking, when I'm getting into the spoils members, I'm saying a lot of these things and a lot of scans and the seismic testing, I've been getting answers, and I've been getting more questions than answers. You know, why aren't they finding these things? And I keep on asking, I ask all the time. If there's tunnels all over the place, and there's maps of tunnels, and there's surveys of tunnels and everything else, why aren't they coming up on Gary's expensive metal detector that does depth and all the scanning they have done around this island? The only thing I could come up with, because I wrote a note, because I'm sick of asking myself the same question, Judy, that the tunnels are collapsed. Now, if a tunnel is collapsed, or if a tunnel is filled in, that won't show on any scan. It would just show maybe a little dirt diffrations or soil diffrations. They filled it with sand, they filled it with rocks, they filled it with wood, but it will not come up as a tunnel if it's filled in. If it's not filled in and just a big old tunnel with a train track going through, then of course the scanning would pick that up. So in ending my quest of doing that, I'm saying all this stuff's not showing up. It's showing up on maps and old survey maps and etc. The only reason why they're not picking it up because all the tunnels are filled with dirt. I don't know if they were still open and filled with water, if they would show, but they got to be collapsed after all these years and filled in. That's why they're not showing. That's why they got to keep on searching. What do you think, guys?
It makes perfect sense that with all the action on the island, that they would be filled in.
You know what I mean, Judy? Like, that's why when you put a scan around, well, there's no tunnel here. Well, it's all filled in. So when they're looking for like Aaron's spots in tunnels, they're just looking for a soil diffration. So all of a sudden it goes to sand. It's clay, and all of a sudden sand or whatever, because these are all filled in. These are all packed full of wood or collapsed or whatever it is. And that's why they're drilling. I think they got to take more soil samples to see a big difference, or all of a sudden they got like a 4-foot gap. You know what I mean? They're drilling and drilling. All of a sudden there's a 4 foot of nothing, and then they hit the bottom of the floor. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes.
Yup, Pam. That's what I'm saying. There's too much drilling. From all the digging and erosion, there should be no tunnels available. Yeah, right. They're just all filled in. I mean, all these years, it's just taken over. So I think all the scanning is a negative. Yup, Starlene, yup. So we talked about the spike. All right. Let me see if I can all right, guys. We're gonna have to yell at Laird. I know he watches. What's that look like? Does that look like little pressure to you? Judy, do you see that hose and that pressure coming out of
Oh
that hose?
yeah, I didn't notice that, but yes, it certainly does.
So whatever they're blasting again, they're blasting right through the grate of that table. This is where they found the other spike, Judy, the other deck spike.
Yes.
Yep, Carol, they need to do the big dig and just find out what's going on. But I just wanted to show Laird that. So they're blasting away. I have no idea, Tom. I said they're washing rocks. I just said that, but why isn't there any moss on any of these rocks? I have no idea. I hope you heard my theory on that. You know, the north side gets the moss, no sun, and the island was covered in trees, so there was no sun getting down to the bottom. So if this Serpent Mound is old, it should be all full of moss and everything. And people are saying they clean it up. I say the cleanup, Judy, when I say clean up, they go in there, they make it accessible, you know, chop some trees down. They don't chop the whole acre down to nothing. And they just clear the land so they can walk in there and don't trip and fall and break a leg or something. Let me see here what pictures I got here. Okay, we got Jack on the wash table with the rest of the guys on there blasting away. Okay, here's the thing on the artifact, the two spikes. The analysis. Likely pre-1840 wrought iron. Style of spike is consistent with pre-1790. So those dates all come into our storyline. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes.
There's
certainly.
Yep, there's the dates right there. And this is just a map I took out of their office. And I don't know if that black shadow upper left-hand corner, what that is. It might be just a reflection. But this is the map they have in their research center at Oak Island. I thought that was interesting, so I took a picture of that. What do you think, guys? Now we get into this. Now you see where the Pine Tar Kill is on the upper top of lot 15. Follow me now, right? You follow me? Hi, Susan. How are you?
Yep, we are. There you go.
All right. Now you see on lot 14 on the bottom, there's the small stone paveway. And the red marks is where they perceive it's going up to. It's going up and to the left. All righty?
Yes.
Now, if you're looking at this lots in this small paved area, what's to the right? To the right is where the original money pit location supposedly is. I mean, there could be another money pit area. There could be another vault someplace else, like Erwin says. But we're just going by with the information that we have had for 225 years. You following me?
Yes.
So the money pit's to the right. The Pine Tar Kill is way up on top on lot 15. And on 14, the bottom stone feature is going up and to the left. Now, when they say over and over that the stone feature is going uphill and towards the money pit, am I hearing things?
That's what they said. They said it turned right.
Right. They're saying it turned right. The only thing that turns right that they're finding in my head is the ox paths that came from the swamp to the money pit area. As far as a road turning right, I see nothing. Not unless on the bottom southeast corner of the swamp, which they're going to put pylons in. Now, they dug that out pretty good. Now, for them to put pylons on, they're pretty interested on what they want to dig in that area. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes.
So my only
You
thing,
think-
go ahead.
Do you think maybe they think that the paved area is connected to the road that goes to the Tar Kiln?
What road to the Tar Kill? There is no road going to the Tar Kill.
Well, the one at the right, at the bottom of 15, where the red line is.
There is no road. I just put that in there thinking that there might be a tunnel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I put on the bottom there, no road going this way. That's my arrow because I'm showing the money pit going to the right.
Okay, gotcha.
On the lot 14, they're showing the paved area, that little red line. That keeps on going up, up, up. If that's straight, it goes into the top of lot 13. That's farther away from the money pit, the original money pit. The only thing that they said is they got an ox path that was going from the swamp towards the money pit area. We got that because they're finding the ox shoes and the ox pins, right?
Right.
So for them to spend all this money to put up a cofferdam around the bottom area of the southeast corner of the swamp after they dug all this out already, they dug it out pretty good already, is I bet you that they're looking for a tunnel going from the bottom southeast corner of the swamp connected to the money pit or C1. What do you think, guys?
Well, I think it's certainly a possibility.
If they showed us a road, say that little stone feature, Judy, all of a sudden I made a 90-degree turn or a big turn from 14 to 15 to 16 to 17. They're not showing us that.
Yeah. Yes.
Not at all. So that was my.
Well, I'm confused, John.
You're not the only one. And Tom says, yeah, you only need to build a road till you get to the solid ground. Yeah, Tom, but I'm just saying, how is this road connected to the money pit? The small paved area? It isn't. How's the big paved area on top of the swamp connected to the money pit? It isn't. So that's why I like Aaron's theory that the money pit was only a false item. Or like Tony says, it could have been just a vent, a cave vent that they used. They never had to dig it out. That's all they did was put layers of stone, layers of wood every 10 foot. They used it as a vent. It could have been a pre-existing vent or sinkhole. So when we're thinking about how the hell they dig this hole out and all this and the money pit, maybe they didn't dig anything out. Maybe it was just a vent for a cave system, and they worked with the cave system to hide the treasure and the vault. But if they're going to do a big dig and spend $25 million, these guys got to be precise. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes, for sure.
Yep, money pit's a decoy. Because nothing's pointing to the money pit as far as I'm seeing that they're showing us. You know what I mean? We only can go by what they're showing us.
Exactly. And Aaron thinks the treasure now is at the bottom of the cross, of Nolan's cross.
Right, Coney on the bottom, an entrance to the vault, right. But that's easy to surmise. Just dig there and see what happens. I mean, or drill holes.
Right.
drill holes around that rock, and if it's a big void underneath there, we're right on. Let me see here. The swamp is the key. Yep. Or for them to do a $25 million dig at the money pit, they have to know something that we don't know. You know what I mean?
And that could very well be.
Yes, Michelle. They have found something that is causing them to dig there. Yeah, it's like for me, I'm going to spend all the directions and everything are going away from the money pit for 225 years. Yet I'm going to spend $25 million or less to dig in the money pit area that nobody has found anything. Okay, why were bones found down there, 160 feet, et cetera, et cetera. We got a lot of questions, the solution channel that's moving things 170 feet down. The wood at OC1 dated at 1704. So there has to be some connection at the money pit area. But the information that they're giving us tends to go away from the money pit area, except now they come up with the wood, 1704. Well, how the heck did wood from 1704 be in the money pit area 150 feet deep? But Kevin, the 200-foot anomaly in the swamp, I think it was just the different soil levels, or they just haven't told us yet. We don't talk about that, Connie. But I'm just saying the bones that they dated, how did they get down 160 feet? But yet, the place was dug up. I mean, bones only go 6 feet down. But if you're like Dunfield and dug up the whole thing up and down, 140 feet down, stuff does work its way down. No, Tom, it was a piece of wood that they pulled up of OC1. There was a rock that was 1704, but this is the wood I'm talking about that they pulled out of OC1. It was dated at 1704. There also was a rock, yeah. So that was my question there, that they're going to do a system in the swamp, and I think they're looking for a tunnel to connect from the swamp there to the money pit. Like I'm saying, if they do scans, if the tunnel's collapsed, they're not going to show anything. And don't forget, in front of that little stone feature, there was no road at the time. That was all open. Yes, the rock that Mrs. Redstall found. Yep. You got it. We got to piece this big puzzle together, but I'm getting more confused as the weeks go by. I'm getting more confused. And there's just a picture of RF1 and OC1 at the money pit area, and F25-9.75 that they're looking around in that area. Let me see here. Bear with me. Let me show them that piece of wood again. There's that piece of wood that dated 1704, Tom. Seismic testing is not good for shallow depths. Yeah, but Tom, we're saying if all the tunnels are collapsed, they're not going to show tunnels. They're all collapsed. They're all filled in, backfilled, and everything else. So whatever they do, they're not going to show. So if they have a map, they're going to have to drill and look for soil differentials and go from there. That's my own personal opinion. Now, to the gold shiny thing that drove me crazy.
really got to you, that gold thing.
When I first saw the promo, guys, I call you guys, members, women and gentlemen, they spliced it in that it looked like Jack took it off the wash table. They fooled me. Because in this upcoming promo, it shows Jack on the side and Gary finding it where they're scraping this new paved area away. Hi, Stuart. How are you? You know what I mean? Did you guys all see the promo that I put up for next week? Judy, did you see it?
Yes, I did see it. Hopefully we're going to find out what that is.
Yep. Gordon Fader, they say it's just something they make out of some chemicals on the island. The one on the left is the gold piece. The one on the right is what Gordon and Joy Steele sent me that they make with chemicals. I don't know if it's fool's gold or what it is. And it looks very similar, doesn't it?
Sure does.
You know, were they making fool's gold on the island? You know, what the heck were they doing there? It doesn't look like a pocket watch because I don't see no seam around the edge. You see any seams on the edge, Judy?
None at all. And I've looked several times with a magnifying glass.
Okay. And Susan Banner, didn't you think you saw a tunnel by the tree? Yeah. Yeah, but it could just have been a dark. Yeah, that dark hole right there on the bottom picture. But then what do I know? I thought the gold thing came off the wash table, so I'm starting to lose it here, guys. Or left over from melting down. And another member said this, guys. I said guys again. I'm sorry, I call you guys. If you found treasure there, wouldn't you melt it down so it wouldn't be obvious? And then just sell like not a brick of gold, but instead of having all gold coins, and hey, where'd you get all these coins from? Blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't you melt them down? And Tom Burns says, Gary said it might be gold. Yep. And the other thing that got me confused is Gary said if he ever found gold, he would do a gold dance. All right. So Tom Burns, I did not see no gold dance, but I don't know what the editors do. I mean, they only show us so much to tease us. If he jumped around and going crazy, no. You know what I mean? I didn't see him jump around or what the editors maybe cut out. He said it might be gold. So that's what sort of holds me back, that whatever this is, he didn't do no happy dance. So we don't get no happy dance back. You know what I mean? That's what gives it away. We know all these little details now since we've been with them for 8 years. We know everything. You know what I mean? We know the things that make them go crazy, not or whatever. And now at least, it looks like a coin. Then 2 seconds later, it's a button, but they cut away after they say, this is a coin. And then next week, they put it on. Oh, this is a coin, but nope, it's a button. You know what I mean? Those teases, they just drive me crazy. And the editors are jumping around. I mean, they always jumped around as far as I have seen. Even before the COVID, they were just piling on, jumping here, jumping there to make content. I wish they would work on one situation, once it all gets to the editing floor, and just concentrate. Okay, this is on the swamp. And then go to the war room and then go for research. Instead of going.
I agree. It would be easier to take notes.
Yeah, right, Judy. It's like, okay, just stay in the swamp, but maybe it's just too boring. They got to jump because nobody's going to watch 50 minutes of just the swamp. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They take the best content to make the best. What do we get? 20 minutes or 10 minutes, and the rest is advertising or whatever. For TV. So that's what we got to put up with. But it got crazy this year, and don't forget, we're going to give them a pass because of the COVID. I think they did a good job, but they're really driving me crazy this year. That's my own personal opinion.
I have noticed, John, this year, though, that they have not done as much repeating as they have in other years, where they would constantly show pictures from the past.
Right? Yup. They do that before the show if you want to see a repeat of the episodes. But don't forget now, I guess the History Channel shows this whole episode the next day. They never had that before. When you saw the show on Tuesday night, that was it. You had to buy it on a DVD or you had to download it and pay money. But now, because it's got commercials on it on the History Channel, I mean, you got to put up with the commercials and the advertising, but it's available the next day to see the whole full episode. So maybe that had a thing on it so they would watch it with the commercials so the advertisers would get their money. What do you think, Judy?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yep, and they also show it an hour later, right, Tammy? Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, it helps me out because I can watch the show again Wednesday morning before I do my synopsis. Before I couldn't do that.
Right. But I'm saying they never let it go on the History Channel's website to show the whole show for free, even though you got to put up with the advertising. So I think for them not to really flood us out with complete repeats, that people would watch that full episode on the History Channel, put up with the advertising, and be over with it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And if it's driving me crazy, it's got to be driving the Lagina brothers also. Yeah, could tape and watch the next day, cut out the commercials. Yeah, you got them DVRs and all that. But that's what went on for Tuesday. I thank Judy for doing all her synopsis. We went through the cribbing, the deck spikes, the Serpent Mound. It's got me crazy. We'll learn more as they go through that with the archaeologists. The gold thing now is the big thing. The wood that was dated at 1706. It wasn't 1704 was the rock. This wood was dated 1706. Sorry about that. Pam, they have no idea what's going to be aired on Tuesday nights. That's why I can't get them to come on my live show, because they're afraid if they say something that's not aired, they can get in a heap of trouble. Aaron will be back on my show once she gets the okay to say in detail what's going on. Like I'm saying, the editors are jumping all over the place, so she can be on, she can't be on. All of a sudden, in 2 or 3 weeks, she's on for 2 episodes in a row. She don't know, I don't know, nobody knows until it's aired. I don't think they follow a script at all. They're like me, we just wing it. I mean, they always have a video person with them when they go out and metal detect. So what you see is what you get. Same with me. What you see is what you get. I don't edit. We just are having a conversation like over a cup of coffee. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes. How about a margarita?
Or a margarita, or I have a Woodford bourbon, double barrel oak with 1 ice cube, and we just relax.
Sounds good.
So we talked about the roads. We talked about the Serpent Mound. We talked about the shoe nail. The wood at 1706 and OC1 has got my eye. We talked about lot 16. That's the Money Pit Mountain. And, for them not to find this 130-foot mountain in 10 to 12 years, I mean, a serpent mound that they just found still boggles my mind. I still can't get over it. But like Tony says, it takes time, but not on my time schedule. All right, what I got here, I don't know if you can see it. my God, are pages out of a 1939 Popular Science magazine. It was so bad that most of the magazine was shot. So I got the pages only. And this is April 1939. She was never on the show yet, Ginny. When she can come on, she'll be on to discuss. They all got non-disclosure agreements. All right, this is by Edwin Teal. And even if we go through 1 or 2 or 3 pages, we always can finish up on each Saturday. This was in a Popular Science magazine, and let's see what they were saying in 1939. And I hope I don't put you guys to sleep. If I put you guys to sleep, just let me know, and we can end it shortly if you want. You guys ready?
We're ready.
It says, Captain Kidd's gold. Did the pirates hide their loot? Now think of these words now. Ready, Judy? Did the pirates hide their loot in the tide-guarded money pit of Oak Island? They're talking about the flood tunnels, right? But they said tide-guarded money pit of Oak Island. Strange, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget, in 1939, they didn't have all these scanners and metal detectors and everything else. It says, as spring moves up the North Atlantic coast this year, a well-equipped American expedition is preparing for a new attack upon the fabulous money pit of Oak Island. Only a mile and a half long, this island nestles close to the eastern shore of Nova Scotia, not far from the resort town of Chester. According to legend, is the site of a mysterious, flooded stronghold of buried treasure. For nearly a century and a half, men have been probing the earth of this island, seeking the gold. More than $250,000 is spent in this long search without solving the mystery. Now, under the direction of a New Jersey engineer, workmen will use high-speed electronic pumps, compressed air drills, and the latest resources of science in an assault upon the contrived vault where the treasure is supposed to lie. An amazing discovery within recent months has provided fresh clues to the strangest riddle of the treasure hunting. In a high-ceiling room where a desk lamp carved out of a hollow of yellowish light in the darkness, I recently listened until long past midnight to a man who was leading the latest expedition to the northern island. We have been talking steadily since early afternoon. Maps, pirate charts, and the latest products of map makers lay scattered across the great flat-top desk. From time to time, an arm entered the circle of the light to point out a spot or trace a line while the voice of a nearby invisible speaker unfolded its tale of mystery and research. The story of Oak Island goes back to the year 1795. Its earliest chapters were recorded in that curious old volume, History of the County of Luxembourg by Judge Mather de Brissay. The island, which is approximately half a mile wide, is no more than 350 dotting the surface of Mahone Bay, 45 miles down the ocean side of Nova Scotia from Halifax. The name of the bay comes from a French word designating the swift, low-lying pirate craft that used to hide in the island maze. Now, what do you think of that, Judy?
Oh, that's interesting.
The name of the bay comes from the French word designating the swift, low-lying pirate craft that used to hide in the island maze. All except one of the islands are covered with spruce. That one is distinguished by curious oak trees with elm-like tops. The earliest settlers viewed the island with superstitious dread. Those living near it on the mainland reported seeing flickering lights and hearing strange cries at night. For many years, no one dared to go near that spot, and I've heard credible witnesses that strange things still happen on Oak Island, and I mean credible witnesses of very strange things happening. I just want to put that out there. I'm not going to give you who and what and where, but if this person told me, I'm even scratching my head on the paranormal. I know I wouldn't go there, but when you get a credible witness and a credible story, guys, this is for another tale and another day because this Oak Island's driving me crazy. And when it comes from a credible witness, you got to go with it. On the paranormal, I never thought I would say this, Judy. Never in my wildest dreams.
I didn't either.
For many years, no one dared to go near the spot. Then one autumn morning in 1795, the three adventurous youths, Anthony, Jack, and Daniel, paddled out to the island on a hunting expedition. But I think McGinnis knew there was a treasure on that island from his relatives in Scotland. I'm adding these things in there. Do you guys mind? It says Vaughn was only 16. The two others were a little older. We know, I think McGinnis was over 35 years old. So there's a lot of things that this would say that we already know and disproved. With guns ready, the young explorers pushed their way through and among the strange trees. 50 yards from shore, they came upon an open space which towered a gigantic oak with a horizontal limb cut off several feet from the trunk. The top of the stub was deeply scarred as they were running ropes or cables, and beneath the limb, the boys found a circular depression in the sod, roughly a dozen feet in diameter. What did they say here? 50 yards from shore. So I'm wondering, is the money pit they're looking at now, how far is that offshore? And yet the sea levels have been different. I don't know if that's a clue or not, but we'll go with it that way. The next day they returned with picks and shovels. Pirate lore of the region centered about it. They thought they stumbled upon buried loot. 10 feet below the surface, they struck the heavy platform of hewn timbers. Below it must lie the doubloons and pieces of 8. But when the wood was removed, only more earth was found below. At 20 feet, they struck another platform. Their hopes soared again, and they found only dirt below. The digging became more difficult. All the clay that had to be hoisted to the surface in a bucket. Then they had descended 30 feet. Their picks encountered a third platform of oak. Disappointed, laid below. They found clay instead of gold. Winter closed in, this time, and the digging stopped. In fact, 8 years went by before work was resumed. Am I boring you guys or not? You still want me to go?
Yes, please.
I'm asking the group out there. Ready? Without investigating, the skeptical Manlaners rejected the boy's story as a hoax and refused their help. Unable to proceed alone, the three bided their time. Two married, settled down on Oak Island, and brought up children with sight of the mysterious pit. It was when one of those children was born that the physician from Truro, NS, a Dr. John Linens, became interested in the island. He organized the first Oak Island Treasure Company. Together with a group of his friends, including the original discoverers, he began operations at the Money Pit at 1803. Mysteries encountered the diggers during that short northern summer, 136 years ago, have been becoming more puzzling with the passing of time. Now, don't forget, this is written in 1939, not 2020. This is 1939. As the workmen descended, they found some marker or platform at every 10 feet. Most of the time, they were heavy layers of oak or spruce. Once there was a stratum of charcoal. Another time, a thick matting of some tropical fiber, such as found on the outside of coconuts. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 feet, the pit continued downward. When the diggers reached the depth of 95 feet, they quit to return to the mainland. Over Sunday, before they left, they drove an iron stake to the ground at the bottom of the pit. Let me repeat that again. They drove an iron stake into the ground at the bottom of the pit. When it had penetrated 5 feet and reached the 100-foot level, it entered the planking of another mysterious subterranean platform. What? Did you just hear that? Did you guys hear that?
I've never heard that before.
Let me repeat this because I'm reading this for the first time because I like to go with and learn as you guys learn. So I didn't read any of this. This is the first time I'm reading this. They drove an iron spike into the ground at the bottom of the pit that they dug. When it had penetrated 5 feet, so now what, they're 105 feet deep, and reached the 100-foot level, it entered the planking of a mysterious subterranean platforms. The following Monday morning, the workers were amazed to find 60 feet of water standing in the pit. So that's something new. What do you think of that, Judy?
Yeah, I wonder if the guys know that, if the fellowship knows that.
I mean, I don't know if they got all their feet correct or 100 feet, could be 98 feet, you know what I mean? So we're just going by what the reader is researched here in 1939, you know? Here we go. Ready?
Ready.
As the diggers had encountered some gravel or sand, which can account for the seepage, they were at a loss to explain the presence of water. They started another shaft, 12 feet away from the first one, and continued it down 110 feet without finding any water. As soon as they cut a horizontal tunnel towards the money pit, a flood rushed in and filled the second shaft to the same height as the water in the first shaft. Later shafts sunk by other treasure seekers have told the same story. Only in the immediate vicinity of the money pit is the endless flow of water found. Baffled by this mystery, the 1803 company exhausted its funds and ceased operations. Nearly half a century went by before the second treasure company in 1849 began a fresh start for the hidden gold. Dr. Linds was also active in this venture. By that time, the old diggings were filled with dirt and debris. But Anthony Vaughan, then a feeble old man, pointed with his cane to the spot where the first he had seen the depression in the sod and began the work. At approximately 90 feet, water rushed in and filled the pit as below. Bailing it out proved useless. So the company tried a newer approach. At the time, a coal prospector was going about Nova Scotia, boring into the ground with a primitive drilling mechanism run by horsepower and known as a pod auger. He was hired to bring this pod auger to Oak Island, boring down through the mud and water-filled shaft. The drill struck a platform at 100 feet. Now, what platform they're talking about, I have no idea. It says he was hired to bring his pod auger. Remember, there was no causeway or anything at this time either. Everything was barged into the island. He was hired to bring this pod auger, boring down through the mud of the water-filled shaft. The drill struck the platform at 100 feet. Okay, what happened here? Where'd I go? We tore all these pages out here. Okay, and came up with wood chips that showed it was made of spruce. That 100-foot platform was made of spruce. You got it, guys?
Yes.
It dropped 12 inches and began boring through 4 inches of solid oak. What? It dropped 12 inches and then began boring through 4 inches of solid oak. Beyond the yoke, it passed through 22 inches of what appeared to be loose metal, which the treasure seekers were sure was golden coins. Biting through 8 more inches of oak, the drill penetrated another 22 inches of loose metal and another 4 inches of oak. Then it went on through 7 feet of clay, and the drilling stopped. You got all that, guys?
Boy, wow.
Want me to repeat that or no? Judy.
I think we got it. No, I think we got it.
Okay. This driller, moving his apparatus over a few feet, the operator began again. As before, the auger passed through the platform at 100 feet. Below, it started revolving unevenly, bringing up splintered chips that seemed to have been gouged from the bulging side of the heavy oak cast. Spurred on by this proof that something lay on the foot of the drowned shaft, the company began to do the effort to drain the pit. Great pumps driven by relays of draft horses brought from the mainland operated night and day. Enormous quantities of water were drained away, yet the level in the shaft remained the same. They then discovered that they were, in effect, trying to bail out the sea. The water was salty, and the level in the pit rose and fell with the tides, which we know. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes.
In some mysterious way, the pit was connected to the ocean water around the island, which we know is the flood tunnels. Tests made last year, which is 1938, on the island indicated that the flow of seawater into the pit is approximately 500 gallons a minute. The powerful electric pumps will be tried out a few months hence, will have a capacity of at least 1,000 gallons a minute. Unable to drain this shaft, the 1849 company is ready to give up when some of the men noticed a curious thing about a small cove some 30 rods south of the money pit. For hours after the tide receded, the curving stretch of beach gushed forth water in large rivulets, almost as it were a sponge being squeezed. Digging into the sand at the cove, workmen came upon a layer of the same fibrous material discovered at the money pit. Then a layer of eelgrass, then large and small boulders arranged in a particular manner. In later years, some of the fibers were submitted to the scientists at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. I have seen the report they made. The fibers they declared had come from coconuts and buried under the conditions in which they were found might have remained intact for centuries. For more than 140 feet along the beach, the workers of the 89 years ago excavated to a depth of 8 feet. Everywhere they found the same. Beneath about 3 feet of sand, they came to a thick layer of coconut fiber. Now they're talking layers here, not little pieces of hairs looking here. They're talking layers of coconut fibers. Got it, Judy?
Yeah, do so.
Underneath the coconut fibers was a heavy matting of decaying eelgrass. Now listen to this one. Tons, Tons, tons of tropical coconut fibers were removed from the beach of the northern island and piled in stacks like hay along the shore. Wow.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Tons of tropical coconut fibers were removed from the beach of the northern island and piled in stacks along the shore. Nowhere in the region except at the cove and in the money pit were the fibers ever accounted. Another strange happening occurred when an oxen plowing a nearby field plunged 15 feet into the earth when the ground caved in under the feet, whiing we know is the cave-in peak, right?
Yes.
So can you imagine so much coconut fiber? You got to pile it up on shore. Wow. Beneath the matting on the beach were boulders large and small, so placed that there were countless intersections between them. Someone long before had excavated the beach and turned it into a vast and devised sponge hidden beneath 3 feet of ocean sand. Every incoming tide creeping up to the beach filled the crevices with water. Who had designed and built this reservoir of ocean brine, and why? The latter half of that question will be soon answered. Converging like the ribs of a great fan, 5 long gutters were discovered cutting through the maze of boulders, which was formed of flat stones laid end to end, in the manner in which early farmers, before introduction of drainage tile, sometimes reinforced their ditches or French drains. All these gutters and diggers found met at what appeared to be the outer end of the underground channel, a crude sort of conduit slanting downwards towards the money pit. Thus, the whole elaborate scheme seemed clear. The man-made sponge, replenished daily by the tide, provided a constant head of water which prevented the pit from being drained. But who was this mysterious builder? Who had buried the wooden platforms in the earth? How had tons of tropical fibers reached the shore of an uninhabited Nova Scotia island? What lay secreted at the bottom of the money pit, guarded so effectively by the water of the sea? With all these questions still unanswered, the company, which began work in 1849, also exhausted their funds and ceased operation. Grass and rust once again held away over the scene of the feverish activity. But other treasure seekers were to come. The amazing discoveries they made and the chapters they added to the mysterious story of Oak Island and its buried treasure will be related in next month's article series. Oh my God. So I want to end it on there, and we'll read the next chapter, which shows this. Because I'll put you guys to sleep. It's a long, but this other one is just give you some tidbits, things that just make me go ah. It says in 1909, the expedition used deep sea divers to explore the pit. Did you guys know that?
No.
In 1909, expedition used deep sea divers to explore the pit.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But I'm just saying, it says it's just unbelievable that there was that much coconut fiber to do that sponge system. And then people say they used all this coconut fiber because the ships were using it for they pack materials and packaging for shipping, used it. And this just gives you a perspective as how much stuff was there. Yup, in time, most of the stuff was taken away when the tide came. The tide came in, yeah. Or all the padding was for treasure, but it seems like it was just 3 foot deep below the sand, tons of coconut fiber. I mean, if they're hiding the menorah or any kind of religious artifact in a chest of gold, you don't need tons of coconut fiber. You know what I'm talking, guys?
Tom Burns just said that with that much fiber, it means there was some serious pre-planning.
Yep. It's just unreal. You get them little facts. You know what I mean? Was I coming across clear or was I mumbling? $232, 231. and 228. So next Saturday, we'll read well, it's a long one if you guys want to go through it.
Yes, please.
It's called The Mysterious Island Baffles Treasure Hunters by Popular Science. That was what I read you was volume 134, number 4, April of 1939. What I just read you. And the next chapter is from May 1939. By the same guy, Edward Teal. And probably not around anymore. Maybe he is. We got to give him some credit, no matter what. And that'll give us something to read next Saturday night. And of course, this Tuesday, we'll be on for our quick Quest 30 pre-show. And go from there. I want to thank Judy for calling in. We're going to end it up. Anybody got any questions? Renee, we'll go through some questions now. Let's see. Renee Tuttle, my elite member, both Popular Science. Yeah, this is in, one was, what did I just say? May. One was in April of 1939. And the next section that I'm going to read next Saturday night is from April and May of 1939, correct. It's just wonderful how they were thinking of these things in 1939. And there was things I was reading in that first chapter, guys, that I didn't even realize. What about you guys?
There's a lot there I didn't know.
I mean, some of those articles I'll copy down and I'll post it in our group so we can decide on whatever the heck they said. You know what I mean, Judy? I'll write them down and
Yeah.
I'll type them up. Just on, the ones about the coconut fiber, 3 foot deep. A couple of the apartment ones that had me scratching my head, about the platform at 100 feet and then clay and then metal and everything else. I'll redo that for you guys.
Beth Green says John is leaving us on a cliffhanger. Does that sound familiar?
I got to be like the show. Could it be? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's a lot to read. And it's a lot to read, guys. As a new day begins on the quest of Oak Island. Our guest tonight has appeared on the History Channel, The Curse of Oak Island, for their knowledge of the Knights Templar and medieval history. But I'm just saying, just too much to read and just be too much and overload. Like I said, I'll take out the important ones that I had my head scratched on it, and I'll post it in chat. And DeWitt, why don't they see if there's a ship in the swamp? I think it's not there. I think it's just the sediment, different sediment set off the thing to show an anomaly. Otherwise, they would have been digging that part of the swamp out. Why are they going into the bottom southeast corner of the swamp with the coffer dam? So like Don Brett says, tune in at the same bad time, the same bad channel for the exciting conclusion. It's all facts what they were thinking about in 1939, Don. And I just, we got to put all these facts together. And I just like what they were thinking about at that time. I want to thank Judy for calling in. We'll give her a break and get her off the phone. If anybody, we didn't get the call-ins tonight, but we'll get that done in next Saturday. And so, Judy, I'm going to hang up. And
Okay.
I thank you so much for your synopsis. It's been great. You want to say anything to the crew here?
I just want to say good night, everybody, and have a good week, and please stay safe. Good night, John.
Good night, Judy. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for your work. I thank you so much, you and Tammy.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys, we want to thank our Quest of Oak Island member, Carol DeMeyer McKitty. Please send me your address. You've won a Quest of Oak Island mug, even though Starlene Phillips was number one and Susan Opfer are number two. They're always at the top, but since they got a mug, it goes to you. All righty? So that was a good night tonight. And we'll be logging off in about 2 or 3 minutes. And I want to thank everybody that came in here. I want to thank everybody on the Quest side. I want to thank everybody on the YouTube side. And don't forget, always go forward, never back. You might get a setback, but always go forward. Believe in your dreams. No matter how old you get, just go for it. Go forward. I know it's hard times. Be safe, but do the best you can be. Always go forward. I want to thank all the new members that have joined. I want to thank you all. Still need some help on the YouTube side as far as watching videos and subscriptions. Got to keep that going. And like I said, we got some information for next Saturday. Who knows what's going to be happening this coming Tuesday night? We'll see you at 7:30 this Tuesday night. There's no drilling down for our pre-show. You guys love it when I come on Tuesday nights. We have a great time and get sort of hyped, get sort of pumped on what they're going to show us next Tuesday. And I hope we get something, answers with that global thing. Maybe not, maybe yes. I have no idea. Everybody be safe out there. Don't forget, go Bills. I had to put that in there. And good night, everybody. Anything that comes up, I'll put it in chat. And have a safe one, everybody. Good night now.